I'd been working at Westgate Market for nearly 22 years. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to feel useful. After my husband passed, the job became my routine, my rhythm. I stocked shelves, managed the registers, trained the new kids, and kept the break room coffee stocked with the good kind hazelnut, not that bitter store-brand nonsense. I was 65, and proud of it. I didn't need recognition. Just stability. But that morning, something was off. Mr. Bell, the manager, wouldn't meet my eyes when he handed me the sealed envelope. He cleared his throat 3 times before saying, "Ruth, corporate's downsizing, and well, they're cutting some of the senior positions." Senior. I knew what that meant. Too old. Too slow. Too close to retirement without actually retiring. "But I still work full-time," I said, my voice steady. "I've trained most of the staff in this store. I've never taken a single sick day." I know, he mumbled, "It's not personal. They're just tightening things." I nodded, because I refused to give them the satisfaction of seeing me cry. When I got home that evening, I placed the letter on the kitchen counter and sat at the table. My hands were still dusted with flour from the bakery section. My apron still smelled like fresh bread. And yet, I was jobless. That night, I dialed the only person I could think of. My daughter, Maya. She answered on the 3rd ring. "Hey, Mom. Everything okay?" I hesitated. "I lost my job today." A pause. Then, "Oh, that's tough. I was wondering if I could stay with you for a little while. Just until I figure things out. I don't want to be alone right now." Another pause. "Yeah. I mean, sure. I guess that makes sense." I felt a lump rise in my throat. Relief, maybe. Gratitude. "Thank you," I whispered. "I won't be any trouble." "I know, Mom," she said. "We'll figure it out." But her tone didn't sound like comfort. It sounded like obligation. I arrived at Maya's house the next afternoon with nothing but one suitcase and a tote bag. I had sold my car last year after the repairs piled up, and I didn't want to deal with Uber, so I took the bus. 2 transfers, 28 blocks, and more stairs than my knees liked to admit. But I didn't complain. I was grateful. Or at least I told myself I should be. Maya opened the door and gave me a quick hug, stiff, distracted. She barely made eye contact. "You made it," she said, stepping aside. Her husband, Darren, was sitting on the couch, tapping away on his laptop. He looked up, offered a polite nod, and went back to his screen. "I hope I'm not interrupting anything," I said, forcing a smile. No, Maya said. "We're just juggling a lot right now." She didn't offer to help with my suitcase. I wheeled it in myself. The house was beautiful. Hardwood floors, big windows, the scent of candles burning something expensive and botanical. For a moment, I felt comforted. Like maybe, just maybe, I could exhale. Then Maya spoke. "So," she said, arms crossed, "we talked it over, and we think the basement might be best. It's not finished yet, but it's private. Quiet." I blinked. "The basement? It's temporary," she said quickly. "You know, just while you get back on your feet." I didn't think I'd be. We just have the guest room set up as Darren's office now. And I work from home too. So, space is tight. I swallowed my pride. Hard. "That's fine. I don't need much." She led me downstairs. No carpet. Just a mattress on the floor, a plastic folding chair, and an old lamp with a crooked shade. A single dusty window filtered in pale light. "I'll grab you some extra blankets," she said. "It gets cold at night down here." I stood in the middle of that basement, the weight of my suitcase suddenly 10 times heavier. I'd just spent over 2 decades stocking shelves, keeping a store afloat, helping strangers find comfort. And now, the only comfort I was given was a cement floor and borrowed warmth. Later that evening, as I helped wash the dinner dishes, Maya casually said, "By the way, we're going to need some help with groceries while you're here. And maybe the utility bill. Just until you find something." "I don't have an income right now," I said gently. She shrugged. "You're still capable, Mom. There are plenty of jobs for people your age." You can't just sit around, you know? And just like that, I understood. This wasn't a home. It was a holding cell. And I wasn't a mother anymore. I was an expense. The first night in the basement, I didn't sleep. Not because of the cold, though it crept in from the walls like a second skin, but because of the silence. The kind of silence that doesn't comfort you. The kind that listens, waits, reminds you of what you've lost. No warmth. No welcome. Just cement, dust, and a mattress that dipped in the center. I pulled the blanket tight around my shoulders and stared at the ceiling. I could hear footsteps upstairs. Laughter. Maya and Darren watching something on TV. I used to be a part of that. Of them. Now, I wasn't even worth a real bed. In the morning, I climbed the stairs and made coffee. I tried to act normal, to blend in, to earn my keep. Maya walked into the kitchen and sighed as if my presence took up too much oxygen. You didn't have to make coffee, she said. I don't mind, I replied. Well, you can help with breakfast, then. Darren's gluten-free now, and I'm cutting sugar. Just so you know. I nodded. I remembered when I used to make her pancakes every Sunday morning, extra syrup, never counted calories. She'd dance around the kitchen in her pajamas, telling me about school and boys and dreams. Now she just scrolled through her phone while I sliced fruit in silence. That week, I became invisible. No one asked how I was feeling. No one asked what I needed. I washed their clothes. I vacuumed. I cleaned the bathroom after Darren's shaving cream exploded across the sink. I offered. I gave. But still, the whispers came at night. She's got no savings. I don't want her here for months. She should be looking every day for a job. It's not a vacation. She needs to pull her weight. I heard it all through the vent. That was the moment the humiliation turned into something else. Not quite anger. Not yet. But something brewing. I'd spent my entire life giving. And now I was being spoken about like a freeloader. A burden. A problem to solve. I started circling job ads in the local paper. Cafeteria openings. Cleaning positions. Anything with flexible hours. But no one called. No one wanted to hire a 65-year-old widow with sore knees and too much experience. One night, after another cold dinner and a colder silence, Maya leaned against the counter and said, "Maybe it's time to look into assisted living or something. Places that are better suited for older people." I looked at her, really looked at her, and realized something that shattered me. She wasn't trying to help me survive. She was trying to push me out. I was wiping down the kitchen counter when Maya dropped the brochure in front of me. A folded pamphlet, shiny, colorful, too cheerful for what it was. At the top, in bold letters, Golden Pines Assisted Living, where independence meets support. I stared at it, saying nothing. My hands still smelled like lemon cleanser. My back ached from scrubbing the bathtub an hour earlier. "I called them yesterday," Maya said, like she was talking about a restaurant. "They have a spot open. It's work-based, you help with laundry and food prep, and they give you a room and meals." I didn't look up. "I figured it might be a good solution," she added. "You'll have your own space. You won't feel like you're imposing." That word, imposing, hit harder than I expected. I looked at her slowly. "I'm not a stray cat, Maya." She exhaled through her nose. "No one said you were. You didn't have to." She crossed her arms. "Look, I'm just trying to help. You're clearly not finding a job, and we're juggling enough already. Darren's been patient, but he's starting to ask how long this is going to go on." "How long what goes on?" I asked, my voice sharp. "Me being in need? Me not having anything left because I gave it all to you?" Her face tightened. "Don't start guilt-tripping me, Mom. You helped because you wanted to. That was your decision. And now you want to act like I owe you my life." "No," I said quietly. "Just a little respect." Silence stretched between us. Thick. Ugly. Darren walked in at that exact moment, glancing between us. "Everything good?" "Peachy," Maya muttered. He looked at me and said, "We also talked about another option. There's a center nearby that helps seniors find live-in housekeeper roles." You'd have your own room, small income, meals included. That might work too. I blinked. You want me to go clean someone else's house, again? At 65? It's better than doing nothing, Maya muttered. We're all adjusting, Mom. I stared at her. This woman I raised. Who I stayed up with through every fever. Who I fed before I fed myself. Who I worked double shifts for just to buy her a prom dress she swore she couldn't live without. Now she was asking me to mop floors for strangers just so she wouldn't feel uncomfortable having me under her roof. That night, I lay in the basement and didn't cry. I just stared at the ceiling and thought. You won't have to push me out again. I'm walking out on my own. And one day soon, you'll wish you hadn't opened that door. It came on a Tuesday afternoon. I was alone in the house, Maya had gone to a yoga class, Darren was at work. I just finished folding their laundry, carefully sorting socks and shirts that didn't belong to me. The phone rang from upstairs. I nearly didn't answer it. It wasn't mine. But something in me, maybe old habit, maybe instinct, pulled me toward it. Hello. There was a pause. Then a crisp, professional voice replied. Mrs. Ruth Hamilton? Yes, I said slowly. This is Everly and Tate, an estate law office based in Pennsylvania. We're calling regarding the estate of Louisa Harper. My brow furrowed. That name tugged at something. A distant cousin? An old friend of my mother's? I'm sorry, who? Louisa Harper. She passed away last month. You're listed in her will as the primary beneficiary. We've been trying to reach you for a few weeks. My breath caught. Beneficiary? Yes, I'm afraid the details are too sensitive for the phone, but if you're available to meet or verify your identity by video call, we can begin the process of releasing the estate. I sat down slowly, still holding a damp dish towel in one hand. I don't understand, I said. I haven't spoken to her in decades. According to the documents, she never forgot you. The call lasted 20 minutes. By the end of it, I was staring at a screen full of scanned legal documents, deeds, bank records, account transfers. I didn't cry. I didn't smile. I just sat there, quiet, while the truth settled around me like dust in an empty room. Louisa had left me everything. Her house. Her art collection. Her investments. Her savings. Total value, $9.1 million. I looked around the kitchen. The dirty plates on the counter. The empty wine bottles from Darren's Friday guy nights. The sticky fridge handle I wiped every morning like clockwork. And I whispered, out loud. They're about to regret everything. I didn't pack much. A few clothes, my ID, the small wooden box where I kept old photographs and the only necklace my husband ever gave me. I left the laundry folded on the couch, the dishes clean in the rack, and a pot of stew simmering on the stove because that's just who I was. Right until the very end. But I didn't leave a note. Not a goodbye. Not a thank you. Not a single word. By the time Maya and Darren returned from their Pilates and their spreadsheets, I was already gone. My phone was off. My number blocked. I boarded a train heading north. First class. Window seat. Silent car. No distractions. For the first time in years, I wasn't riding toward something I needed to do, I was riding toward something I deserved. The law office welcomed me like royalty. Ms. Hamilton, they said. Not not dear. Not grandma. Just Ms. Hamilton, as if I were someone important. They walked me through everything, deed transfers, account access, keys, passwords, valuations. The money wasn't fantasy. It was real. Verified. Liquid. Protected. And it was mine. I spent that night in a luxury hotel suite, high above the city, wrapped in a robe softer than anything I'd ever owned. The minibar untouched. The air quiet. My own silence, not a forced one. I stood at the window, looking out over the skyline, and whispered to myself. No one owns me anymore. The next day, I met with a financial advisor and opened new accounts under a trust, my name only. I bought a condo in cash under a quiet LLC. No one could trace it back. Then I changed my number. New clothes. New haircut. New name on the mailbox. The Ruth they pushed into the basement was gone. This version of me. She had no interest in being invited back upstairs. My new home wasn't the biggest on the market. But it was mine. A top-floor condo in a quiet part of town, with large windows that bathed the living room in golden morning light. Hardwood floors. A balcony overlooking the water. A reading nook that felt like it had been waiting for me all along. No one told me where to sleep. No one told me what I owed. No one sighed when I walked into the room. I bought new clothes, simple but elegant. Comfortable shoes. A soft coat the color of winter fog. And when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see someone lost anymore. I saw someone reborn. The financial team helped me sort every detail. I set up a legal trust. Charitable donations. A few quiet investments. And then I sat down with a different kind of expert, a lawyer who specialized in real estate reversals and elder financial abuse. I want to revisit a property transaction, I told him. A house I helped pay for, but was never credited for. He looked at the numbers. The emails. The transfers from my account into theirs. He looked up and smiled. This shouldn't take long. While the legal process began in the background, I started breathing again. I took walks in the park, fed the birds near the pier, went to the library and read for hours without checking the time. I even joined a little art class down the street. They didn't know my story. They didn't need to. All they knew was that I showed up with a quiet smile and hands that were finally mine to use, not for scrubbing other people's dishes, but for creating. But peace never lasts forever. One afternoon, as I was leaving a spa, I noticed a woman across the lobby staring at me. She looked familiar. It hit me a second too late. She was Maya's co-worker. Her name was Julia. I remembered her from a holiday party years ago. Back when I was the one cooking in the kitchen while everyone else drank wine and laughed in heels. Now, I was the one in heels. With soft, styled hair. With a glow on my face no cream could fake. Julia's eyes widened. "Ruth," she said. I paused. And then I smiled. Just a little. "It's Ms. Hamilton now." I walked past her without another word. By the time I got home, I knew. The news would reach Maya. And she would come running, not for love. But for the scent of money. It didn't take long. 2 days after the spa run-in, my phone rang an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Then came the texts. 5 in a row. "Hi Mom, can we talk? I heard you're okay. I'm so glad. I've missed you. We should have never let you leave like that. Can we meet for coffee? Please." I didn't reply. She tried again the next morning. A different number. I blocked that one too. By day 3, there was a knock at the door. I didn't open it, but I looked through the peephole. There she was. Maya. No makeup. Tired eyes. Arms folded around herself like she didn't know what to do with them. She stood there for almost 10 minutes. I watched from the other side of the door, my heart calm, my face still. Eventually, she slid a handwritten note under the door. I didn't read it. I placed it in a drawer and walked away. But I wasn't surprised when the next knock came with urgency. The buzzer rang. Longer this time. More desperate. I answered through the intercom. "Yes." Her voice cracked. "Mom. Please. Just 5 minutes. I didn't know. I didn't know you were going through so much. I handled it all wrong. I was stressed. We were under pressure. I wasn't thinking clearly." She waited. Silence. "You disappeared. I thought you were living on the street or something." I felt horrible. I paused. Then said, slowly, "You told me to go scrub floors in a senior home." Silence again. "I was scared," she said. "But I didn't mean it like that." I leaned closer to the mic. "You meant it exactly like that." She started crying. "Mom, please. I love you. I was wrong. Let's just start over. We're family." Family. That word used to mean something. I took a deep breath and said, calmly, "I'm not angry anymore, Maya. But we're not starting over. This isn't a second chance. This is goodbye. But I gave you everything. And when I had nothing, you made sure I felt it. Then I clicked the buzzer off and walked away. I never meant to become a story. But the world loves a quiet woman who decides she won't stay quiet anymore. It started with a simple idea, a post. Just one. A photo of the basement. The mattress on the floor. A single caption. After 22 years of working full-time, I lost my job at 65. My daughter told me I was a burden. Suggested I go clean houses again. A month later, I inherited over $9 million. I never went back. I thought maybe a few people would read it. By morning, it had over 400,000 likes. By noon, every comment section was flooded. I'm crying. This is my mother's story too. She's a queen. No notes. Tell us everything. Don't hold back. To the daughter, regret must taste so bitter. The post exploded. People began asking questions. News outlets requested interviews. Advocacy groups for seniors reached out. Women in their 50s, 60s, even 70s began commenting, sharing their own stories of being erased, overlooked, used. And I realized, this wasn't just about me. It was about us. I agreed to one interview. Just one. I sat down in front of a soft light, clean makeup, a neutral backdrop. And I told the truth. I didn't make it dramatic. I didn't scream or cry. I just spoke clearly. I was treated like a burden after I'd given everything. But that moment didn't break me. It woke me up. I realized I had spent decades taking care of everyone but myself. When the money came, it didn't change me. It freed me. I didn't want revenge. I wanted peace. But sometimes, peace looks a lot like walking away without a word and never turning back. The video went viral. I became a symbol. Not of wealth, but of self-worth. The woman who was told to scrub floors, and now owned properties, investments, and peace of mind. The woman who didn't seek attention, but still found a crowd. They called me the basement millionaire, the silent matriarch, the woman who said nothing and took everything. And I stayed quiet through all of it. Because I didn't need to talk anymore. The world was talking for me now. The official letter landed in Maya's mailbox 2 weeks later. Stamped. Signed. Delivered with legal weight that could not be ignored. Inside was a formal notice. Petition to reverse financial transfers and real property contributions. The house she lived in, my name was all over it. The down payment. Me. The second bathroom remodel. Me. The utilities during the pandemic. Me. The emergency fund I drained to help them cover Darren's business loan. All me. And now, I had the legal team, the proof, and the means to take it all back. They had 30 days to respond. Maya didn't even try to call this time. She sent a message, one of those carefully worded things meant to sound mature, but reeked of panic. Mom. We're confused. We thought everything you gave us was a gift. We're so sorry if anything came off the wrong way. We really want to talk this out. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. I had already said everything I needed to say the moment I walked out of that basement. Their lawyer tried to counter, of course. Tried to paint me as unstable. Bitter. Petty. But the documents were airtight. The witnesses credible. The evidence, undeniable. When the judge ruled in my favor, I didn't celebrate. I just nodded quietly and signed the transfer papers. By month's end, the house was mine again, legally, publicly, fully. I didn't evict them. I gave them 60 days to leave. Grace is a power people never expect from someone they once disrespected. But I gave it anyway, not for them. For me. The day they moved out, I didn't watch. I had a new tenant lined up, an older woman, recently widowed, gentle and grateful. Someone who would treat that space with the kind of dignity I never received under its roof. I stood on my balcony later that evening, a quiet cup of tea warming my hands. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel used. I didn't feel erased. I didn't feel small. I felt entirely my own. Thanks for sticking with me to the end of the story, Don't forget to subscribe for more.